There we go. I'm actually here now properly. The brand of liquid feeders I am using are Ant Hood's. Actually, Ant Hood makes these ones, and he doesn't really advertise it, but they are brilliant, and they're like my go-to supply of liquid feeders. So welcome everyone. I'm just doing a random stream tonight, so thanks for joining me. I just thought I'm here. I'm sat at the computer now. I've got a few things to do around the desk area, so I'm here to chat. I'm also in Discord chatting away from this point onwards, so if you're there, I'm also there as well. There we go. Right, what are we doing? Here we go. Do that. It looks like the screen, the glass is dirty, but I can't get it clean. Also, when does the giveaway end? The YouTube giveaway ended on Wednesday. To be honest, right now I can't even remember who won. I've got it on one of these pieces of paper. The Discord one ends on Sunday. Here we go. Hang on. Oh, All Ants UK, you actually won the £10 prize. So if you send me a message, I'll sort that out for you, you know. Ants Hood got 15 and Dino got 25. So that's who won the YouTube one. Hey KB, nice for you to sign in, buddy. How's things? Yeah, the Discord one's still running until the 9th, so you still got a chance to do that one as well. Yeah, send me a message through Discord. That's probably the easiest thing, just because it's a bit more private than doing it over YouTube, you know. So actually, like I said, I thought it was a really good idea doing it this way, because rather than going to the shops and asking for the vouchers and stuff, I've basically saved up a load of Patreon money and stuff like that to do these prizes, so that we can just go wherever suits whoever wins. I thought it was a good way of doing it. I won't be able to do it like this every time, because obviously it's a lot easier if the shops support it as well. But this eliminates even being able to ask shops, really. Just working. Oh, Edinburgh. I bet it's cold in Edinburgh, isn't it? Bloody hell. It's like 1 or 2 degrees down here, and I'm closer to the equator than you. Edinburgh, but that's freezing at the minute. In fact, do you have snow up there? But yeah, I'm good. Thanks for asking. I'm a little bit tired, a little bit sore from the gym training at the minute. Getting ready for my next competition in like 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks, something like that. It's going to be good. And I've got another one a few weeks after that, and then I'm going to take a load of time off and train hard and just focus on like getting my numbers well up higher, because I'm where I want to be, but I'm not where I want to be, if you know what I mean. So you can never be strong enough. Right, now I was maybe doing like a few things, but I can't even remember what I came down here to do. I'm just sat at my desk chatting, which is fun for me. I need like some background music or something. How can I do that? I could do that. Might slow it right down. No, I'm not going to bother. I am here to chat. I'm excited enough. I could start singing. That could... No, let's not get me singing. No one wants to hear me sing. Oh my God. They've been bringing out a lot of these cocoons lately, if you can see that worker coming down just by the liquid feeder. Loads of cocoons in the last day or so have been going into the pond. So I've been trying to capture it on camera, but every time I start filming them, they walk up to the pond, then walk all the way back. But there's loads of them building up in the pond, which basically means that there's loads of new workers in the nest. The nest is quite busy again at the moment. See, it must be, hang on, it must be a mark on the camera. Oh, now we turn the light on. Get rid of that. How fast do they grow? See, I've had this colony probably about 10 months-ish, maybe about 10 months, 12 months. I got it around the end of last year. I can't really remember, but it's gone into the like thousands now. So pretty fast they've grown. It was a 3-queen colony to start with. They did lose a queen a couple of months back. So now it's 2, but they're into the thousands and growing well. They've always basically had a great environment since the day I got them. I had them in like perfect temperature, basically perfect humidity, and I let them just weave their own nest exactly like anywhere they want. Like I don't try and pre-plan it for them. I just kind of let them do their own thing, and they've thrived ever since. You know, they've done really well. Regular feeding of lots of protein. And like they're at the point now where they always need carbohydrates as well. There's currently, this one's just emptied today, and that's why I've put in 2 more. So when these 2 start looking empty, like I would have already pulled this one out by that point because they would have emptied out of it. I will have that one out and cleaned. Then when those 2 start looking empty, I'll chuck that one in, and then they'll all just gather around the one, which kind of slows down a little bit of their feeding, I suppose, but it's okay because they just smash it down in like a day, in which point I've already got those 2 ready to go again. At one point I did have all 3 going like all the time, but it was just like too hectic to try and get them out and whatnot, because they stick around them even when there's no sugars left. If there's nowhere for them else to go to get sugars, they'll try. So I find putting in that other tower will kind of distract them and they'll run off, and you can just get the towers a bit easier. It's all right because I've got the space to do it. If I was limited on space, I wouldn't be able to add in this many towers, and I'd just be constantly refilling them. Snowing in Edinburgh. Oh, I had to travel 6 hours to get. Oh, that's painful, man. See, I went out earlier. I went to the gym, and then I've done a few things about since. But I've tried to avoid going out as much as possible because it is so cold. It's like when I was riding my bike, my hands were turning blue. And yeah, it wasn't fun. Here's a question. Has anyone watched Ants Canada's latest video? I saw the thumbnail for it and something's gone wrong in his ant house or something like that. I'm reluctant to watch it because it's probably clickbait, but I'd quite like to know what it is. Probably because it's clickbait and it's caught me, but I want to know if it's all gone wrong for him and he's going to give it up, hopefully. No, that's harsh. I don't want him to give it up. I want him to like engage with the community and get involved. Like you might have seen, I keep posting to him. Like all the time, I just keep messaging him saying, Mikey, when you go get involved, like there's so much going on. Get involved because you're annoying us. Stop being unethical. But no, I don't even go into that. I just simply say, why his house got delayed. Poor guy. His house that he spent so much money on got delayed. I feel so bad for him. But yeah, I keep saying he just needs to like get involved in the community because he's helped build it. Like at the end of the day, he's probably the main reason most people are into ant keeping, especially from the interviews, is Ants Canada. You know, most people got into it through Ants Canada, so it makes sense for him to actually be involved. But he's just too famous and too big. But does my head in. You should never be too famous and too big for your fans. You know what I mean? I come from a music background, and even that, you'd never be too big for your fans. And if you are, you're a bit of a idiot. I try not to swear on these streams, as you know. Even though it is past 9 o'clock, but these streams get heard all over the place. They go onto podcasts and all sorts sometimes, so it's not worth swearing. Like I say, it is actually a bit of a shame that his house got delayed because he is planning a massive, awesome project. It's going to be really cool. Like, as much as I kind of, I don't know, I just want him to change the way he does his videos, you know, stop being the way he is. Some of them are great still, I admit, but I've been reluctant to watch any of his videos for a long time now, because they're just, some of the stuff he does is very off-putting. Did everyone catch a little glimpse of my honeypots? They've moved into their Tar Heel nest now. It turned up really fast. I only ordered it like a couple of weeks ago during Christmas as well, and it's already here. Apparently it's still in Miami if I look at the app, but it's already here in my house, so it's pretty cool. I moved them in, went really easily actually. Moving honeypots, I like asked a lot of people on my Discord how they do it or how they suggest doing it. And they're supposed to do it with like tweezers and stuff, and I was like a little bit iffy about it. But when I actually looked inside the test tube, all of them were just sat on top of the cotton, like all the repletes were anyways. Like there was a little bit of loose cotton, not the actual cotton blocker, right? A little bit of loose cotton in the middle of the test tube that they were just kind of sat on, I don't know, being comfy. So I literally just gave that a little tug and out they came. And I put them straight in, tapped the workers in the top like I was told to do. The queen was already on that cotton as well, like with the replete. So that was really handy. And they're in the Tar Heel nest now. They're doing really well. The only thing I'm unsure about is, like, to start with, I actually two things. To start with, I put tinfoil over the glass bit, as I always do, because I like my ants to be in the dark. But then I realised that because the lights of the ant corner are directly above in the shelving units, and the tunnel literally goes straight down, they're getting blasted with light anyways, so it's going to be quite light in the nest. So I've actually taken the tinfoil off for now to see how they do. That was last night, and they ran straight into like the port or the repletes, and like some of the repletes and the queen and some of the workers moved straight into one of the ports, the darkest area. But overnight they must have come out. Obviously, some of the other workers were running about, and everything was going fine, really. And then overnight they've kind of wandered about, and they're now hanging off the ceilings where they want to be. The queen's right by the nest mate, which is meant to be like a bit which provides water. But now I filled up the nest mate, and then I looked again like 10 minutes later, and all the water had dripped through. It's not supposed to do that. It's supposed to sort of stay in there so that they can drink it through the mesh sort of thing. A little bit concerned. I'm not really sure if I used it right, set it up wrong, or whatever, but I'm probably not going to use that to feed them their water. I'll just give them a good old water tower. What I actually done, because I haven't got a water tower small enough to go in there at the minute. I'm going to have to buy a like little Biformica one or something. What I've done is just I did one cotton wool ball of water, one cotton wool ball of the sugars, completely separate pieces of tinfoil so they don't mix. And they can drink from that for now, you know. I'll just keep hydrating them through that. Obviously, I hydrate the nest through the hydration unit, but I'm probably not going to use the nest mate just in case it does leak again. I got away with it that time. There was like in the whole thing, they brought out one dead worker, and I'm pretty sure that worker was already dead before I moved them. So they've done well. They seem happy in there, but yeah, I'm not going to risk it because all the water kind of soaked out, and you could see where it was damp along where the glass was. So it was like, that's not great. But everyone seemed all right. One thing I do notice about my honeypots, because they're the European honeypots, they are a lot smaller than the true honeypots, you know, which also means they can walk about and move a lot easier. Like, I probably could have just attached the test tube to them and like just left them that way, but it is what it is, and I've done what I've done now. So, you know, there we go. I'm quite happy with it. The Tar Heel nest is really cool. I love the magnetic features, like the sides are magnetic and whatnot, so that you can connect it straight to another Tar Heel nest. The only thing I would like to see is another port at the top, so when you magnify it together with another one, the ports instantly like touch anyways. So that's really cool. But there's no ports through the outworlds, it's just through the nest. So it has to come out of the outworld through the nest into the other nest to get to the other outworld. I'd like to see that other connection. I just think that would be cool or handy, just so that they can walk between rather than having to go all that way around, because that's a long way if you're thinking of split and feeding or something. If anyone wants to jump into chat with me, you're more than welcome to. I'll send you the link. Do you mean, do they grow as big size-wise or colony size? Because the European honeypots are substantially smaller size-wise. The repletes, they grow really big. I don't think I can bring up a picture of it at a minute. Yes, I can actually. Give me a second. I'll see if I can bring up a picture. But they do grow quite big, it's impressive. But they can definitely still walk in comparison to the massive things that the other ones do. So I'm just distracted. I can't. Have you ever noticed I cannot do like two things at the same time? And I'm a drummer, bear in mind, so that's not a good thing. I used to be really good at it. I'm getting old now. That's my excuse for everything. I'm getting old. Leave me alone. Here we go. Right. If I do that, bring in that one and that one. That one. Now, where did I put it? I'll find it. Probably. No, I won't. No, I don't know where that picture's just went, even though I saved it. Okay, let's try it again. Where does it save it to? Downloads. Yeah, that's what. Right, now I'm confused. Right, share. That one. That one. Nope. Well, no, I can't show you the picture at the minute because it's just not allowing me, apparently. But they do grow quite big. In fact, it's on the Discord. If you go on the Ants and Picks on my Discord, it's on there. It's also on my Patreon and on Facebook, I think. So it's all over the place. I'll probably post it over to Instagram as well in a bit. If you're not following Instagram, get on that one as well. Obviously, if you advertise it for me, that'd be absolutely amazing because we want to try and build this community a bit larger. For the picnic table and chats, it'd be brilliant if we could get like loads and loads of us chatting in there. I mean, we already have a really good community, but let's keep building it. Let's just keep going. There we go. That's the picture that's on the Discord. So you can see the replete, like, it's quite big, but it's not like a massive golf ball like the other ones get. Do you want to see the isopods? The isopods are absolutely insane at a minute. Hold on, I'm going to move the camera. Hold on. Here we go, here we go, here we go, here we go. If we zoom back a bit. Oh. Loads of isopods at the minute. I mean, there's always loads of isopods, but they're all out eating their cucumber. They've been going nuts on it the last few days. They're actually really interesting. You watch them interact with the ants. Yeah, it is a lot, isn't it? And that's just one area. That's not even the area that they breed in. This is just like, well, they do kind of live under those rocks in the sand, but there's driftwood, like not driftwood, an actual piece of rotten wood, far to the left-hand side by where, by the ant feeding area, and that's where they actually all kind of live. But yeah, there's a lot, and they go all the way back as well, like far into the bushes. But you watch how the ants interact with them. Like the wood lice will literally tell the ants to bugger off sometimes. It's quite cool. Hey, Flaming Yeti, thanks for signing in over on Twitch. It's nice to have some Twitch viewers here. Thanks for coming on. I'm just showing off the isopods at the moment because there's bloody loads of them. We'll go back to the ants in a minute, but it's not really a feeding day, so there's not a lot of ants going on at the moment, but loads of isopods. We might see a crab run past in a minute because they are out in the pond, or I saw one out in the pond anyways. Now, I still haven't worked out how to tell if they're male or female. I know, like, when you can see them close up, you can see by their ends, basically. But from a distance, I'd love to be able to, like, tell how much of that population is actually male or female. But I haven't got the patience to, like, pause it and sit there and try and work it out. My favorite isopod, the favorite isopod foods, definitely cucumber, to be honest. They like all sorts. They do like their protein. They need protein. They need calcium in their diet to reproduce their shells when they molt. But they love their cucumber. And I think that's mainly because it's a good way of hydrating them as well. So they don't even have to drink water if they're getting in their cucumber. It's got not a lot of nutritional value. I tried them on what are those other things, courgettes and stuff, and they do kind of work, but they're just not as good as the cucumbers. They go nuts with you. Like, I'll put in like 6 slices of cucumber pretty much every day, and they'll smash through it. But as you can see, there's a lot of them which eat it. Even the ants now have started eating the cucumber. But the isopods, they'll generally eat pretty much anything. Let's say they do like the protein. They'll try and sneak in and steal a bit, along with the beetles. They do the same whilst the ants are eating. But yeah, they generally, oh, you see those two? They're doing something. We're not going to go into that. I actually don't have different types of isopods yet. Thanks for asking that, All Ants UK. I think I probably will very soon. I've been looking into different species of isopods. To be honest, it's mainly a space issue at the moment. I've been planning to move for the last like 6 months or whatever, but we just need to find a place that's right. Hi, Roger Bill. Thanks for signing in, buddy. We just need to find a place that's right with enough space and in our price range, basically. We've looked at a few places, but it's just not happening yet. When I move, then I'll probably look at getting a lot more isopod species and things like that, just because I'll have more space. I'll have a dedicated area for it rather than what I made the ant corner out of, which is basically just a corner in a room. And then I've taken over other rooms with tanks and stuff. But yeah, I do want to get more types of isopods. Even little colonies just for now might like suffice. I've been thinking about asking Antscapes where he would recommend to get like a mystery box of them from, because to be honest, I wouldn't want to choose. They're not like ants for me. I haven't got like a desired species. I'm not too bothered about dairy cows because they're like protein necessity is insane. I don't really want anything that's going to be a stress because I've got like 32 ant colonies. I've got scorpions and God knows what else. I've got so much now. I don't want anything that's going to be a lot of stress, a lot of like maintenance, really. Just easy species like these. I've got another box of these down below my Dubia Roaches where I actually cultivate them for all my builds, because I use the same isopods in all my builds at the moment. And I've got like tens of thousands in that box. It's pretty insane. And yet again, I feed them on cucumber. They love fish flakes as well. If you put fish flakes in, they'll like run off and grab a piece. Yeah, it's quite cool. But like I say, they'll grab most things. They like crickets. But I hate crickets. When I get a box of crickets, I stick them straight in the freezer. Job done. And then I literally just take them out, let them defrost as and when I need them. Here's a question for all the Ant fans. Has anyone played Ant Simulation? Now, I've got the demo game and the full game. I thought they were great, and I was waiting for more, like it to just keep going. But I looked into it. Apparently, they shut down or something. There was a massive issue in the company, and the game just isn't going to be made any bigger or better, which is a real shame because I thought it was a great game for what it was. A few glitches and things which were the issue with it. Like you can't really save. If you save, then your game's just buggered when you go back. But it was a great game. So has anyone else played that? Flaming Yeti. Yeah, crickets are weird. They're horrible, disgusting little creatures, and they got out in my house, and my wife was not happy with me when it was under our bed. The best way I found for catching it was literally leaving one of our ant sugar towers out, filled with sugars, and it was there within a day or so trying to feed from it. And luckily, I just stuck a pot over the top and caught it. But yeah, absolute nightmare. I hate crickets. The best way, always freeze them. That way, they're not gonna like have any mites or anything. Anyways, you don't have to really worry about boiling them because they've just been frozen for quite a long time. Yeah, like you say, as far as I know, Flaming Yeti, mites can't survive being frozen, so freezing is as good as boiling, to my knowledge, anyways. I might be wrong, but nothing can really survive being frozen. Well, some things can, but you know what I mean. The majority of things, once you freeze it, it's pest free. I wouldn't want to freeze it and then stick it in boiling water because that might turn it off, if you know what I mean. If you did that with a normal piece of meat, I don't know. I suppose then you do cook it, but it's I suppose it's the way to frost it, isn't it? You gotta let it come to a temperature. But yeah. So yeah, before I feed the crickets to the ants, I will literally just take out like, well, I've got 32 colonies at the moment. Some of them are still in founding stage, some of them are this size. So I work out roughly how many crickets I need, literally lie them out on a piece of tin foil, because that's like normally what I use to cut it up on as well. And then I just leave them out for a couple of hours to defrost. I normally do that in the morning, and then I'll feed them at lunchtime or something. Just like 2 or 3 hours to let them defrost because they're only small. Once they're squishy, they're pretty much defrosted, aren't they? So, and then I'll split them open. I generally cut the head off and put a cut down into the belly as well, just to give the ants easy access. And if it's like going to be cut up between different colonies, I'll like cut it into thirds and give each colony just a third of a cricket or something. Ants, All Ants UK, Empires of the Undergrowth. I think I did play that one for a little bit, but I found it was a little bit boring, to be honest. Yeah, it wasn't really my cup of tea. Is that the one where you like build like a base and things like that? It just seems like a lot more effort than it is for ants. You know what I mean? The other one I did enjoy was hang on, I've got so many on my phone that I've played. I can't even see it at the minute. I know it's on there. 1 second. No, I can't. Oh, where is it? I got rid of loads of games. Maybe I did that. But anyways, there was one where like you literally go out, you catch a queen on the floor, you keep it in a test tube, it grows to workers, then you can move it to a form account. That was really good, but they need to develop it a lot more. It's like in early stages still, I think, but it is. It's looking like it could be really good. Find it on the Play Store or whatever and have a little crack on it and let me know what you think of that one. Flaming Yeti got your first ants today. Camp notice. Mate, my Latin is awful. Critchin. I even own this colony as well. Campanotus Queen at 8 workers. Like, awesome. Who did you go with? Who did you get your Campanotus from, may I ask? Was it like a big supplier or someone small? How did you get it? I literally got one not long ago. Same stage. I think I've got 7 workers actually. Probably not going to be doing a lot for now. I've seen the workers coming out twice to forage, but they're only in a Venus nest, which is a tiny little foraging area to make them feel comfortable. Obviously, Campanotus, really temperamental in the founding stage. I've got mine in like the darkest area, the quietest area, best place for them, and I'm still a little bit worried about it. Best Ants UK with a full hybrid setup. That's really cool. Probably don't put them in the full hybrid setup yet. Which hybrid setup is it? Is it the A5 or the yeah? Just which one is it? Because then I'll know. The little founding one is okay for Campanotus and 8 workers. That would be okay. But their larger hybrid setups might be a bit large for 8 workers and a queen at the moment. But I always recommend try and keep them in the test tube for as long as you can. Anyways, with Campanotus, I'd probably wait until there's 15 workers, just because then you know they're getting a bit stronger and out of that founding stage. Like, I don't like to move anything whilst it's temperamental. You know what I mean? The small complete founded setup, you'll be absolutely fine then. I use them quite often for like my Mima Karuba and stuff. They're doing really well in that setup at the minute. I'm going to have to expand it in summer this year. Yeah, Flaming Yeti, it's great to give them that like 4 or 5 days to chill out after you get them from the transport, just because they've been shaken about so much in the post. Did your postman give them to you like they should, or did they just post them through the post box? Because mine used to post them, and then I met him in the gym one day and I explained that they're ants, and since that day he's pretty much just handed them to me every day. He's been really good about it. And hello, I hope I pronounced this, Resaf. I hope I pronounced that right. If I didn't, I apologize massively. My spelling, my reading, even my talking is weird. If you didn't know, I have no teeth at all from a long career of boxing and taking medication for a health condition that I have. They decided to remove all my teeth last year. I have got false teeth, but I very rarely use them because they're just rubbish and in the way. So I've got no teeth, and that's why like I've got a weird voice going on sometimes, stuttering and stuff, you know. It's a bit harder to talk than you expect. You actually have to put effort in to talk. But it's great fun doing the stream, so I'm going to talk anyways. Got them in a test, in a toolbox. I've modified for a heat mat, soundproof it. Perfect. That's literally perfect. If you keep them at around 26 to 28 degrees, they should do absolutely fine. I won't go any hotter than 28 degrees. And don't forget, like, don't heat the water end of the test tube. Only heat the top, very top, like top corner, like 1/4 of the test tube, so that they can move up there if they want to go into a warm area. If you heat the water in the test tube and the test tube is blocked at the other end, because of the pressure of it, you will cause a flood and drown your colony. So don't heat that, because that's actually one of my biggest mistakes I ever did. One of my first proper colonies that I bought, the queen was doing amazing. Like, she was in the founding stage, had her first 10, and then had probably about 40 to 50 eggs. I mean, it was filled with eggs. And then I flooded them. And that was that. So biggest mistake, well, one of the biggest mistakes I've ever done in my 13 odd years of ant keeping. Brilliant. Came in a box and handed them to the missus. It's cold in the house. Yeah. It is hard to keep them at the right temperature at this time of year. That's why it's, to be honest, it's easier to hibernate them. Yeah, I wouldn't actually go higher than 26 at this time of year. My ant room is at 26, so that's what they're at the moment. And that's probably because, like, just wait and see what they're going to do, because they might be in a stage of diapause anyways, where they've got their first 8 workers, they've gone through that founding stage, and now they're probably in a state of diapause, where they're not going to do a lot until March time, because they are a European species at the end of the day. Who thinks we should move the camera back to the ants? Who wants to see the nest? Who wants to see what in the tank? Let me know. I cannot reach at the minute to the pond because I need to put the extension lead on, which means I would lose the stream completely whilst I done it. So it's not even worth doing. But it'll be there for next time. I promise. Yeah, right. Let's go back to the ants then. It was nice to see all the isopods for a while, but let's get back to the ants. Now, that must be like a little smear on the camera because it's following us. I could try and wipe it off, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to leave it. We've got quite a good view of some ants. I could zoom in, actually. We'll have a look up at the nest in a minute. Let's have a little look. Dun, 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 dun. Oh. Is there much activity around the nest at the minute? Looks fairly quiet, actually. You might see some beetles. The beetles live in the elephant fern on the left-hand side. Oh, there's a few ants walking about, actually. That's what the main entrance is there, straight in the middle. And then there's lots of other little holes and entrances all over the place. I'm going to start getting an overlay on this at some point soon, so that everyone's comments will come up on the side, because it's one thing I know is that people on YouTube can't see the comments coming up from Twitch and vice versa. I can see both, but you cannot communicate yet. So it'd be great if I can get all of them coming up on the side. I'm going to see if I can do that probably this weekend. Yeah, the nest is absolutely insane. Like the depth of it as well. That's like that main bit that we're looking at right now is probably about, it's really hard to kind of gauge it. It's bigger than an apple. It's like probably twice the size, like round width-wise density of an apple. And then it goes all the way up there as well, which is really high. And this circle bit is actually about 2 or 3 inches away from the glass at the back. So they filled in all that space as well. And it goes down into the jug where they come in and out of as well, because that's been filled in. They've gone all the way back on this side, which again is like a good 4 or 5 inches of depth that they've just managed to like build over. It's like been so impressive to watch. I tried to film as much as I could, but honestly, if I can do it on these live streams and people might watch it, but if I put that into a video, it'll be like a 4 or 5 hour video, me not talking or saying much and like not a lot happening, but it'll be cool, you know. So it's kind of hard. Like I miss out a lot from watching making the videos, because we have to cut a lot. Why is it? I don't know why there's like an awful reflection. Let's see if I can do something about that. That's a bit better, isn't it? Excuse my cough. I'm estimating this colony is probably around 1,500 to 2,000 workers at the moment. That's just a rough estimate from times when you feed. Like I did miss a feed in one day. Like I normally feed them on a Wednesday and Sunday. That's why I actually do my picnic table on Wednesdays and Sundays, so that you can watch them feed. Once I missed the Wednesday and I did it on the Friday instead, because I was just too busy in between. But they're okay, you know, you don't have to completely strict at a colony this size. They can go a little bit without protein, as long as it's not too long. And then they came out in mass numbers, and I'm talking there was probably 500-600 ants just eating the roaches. And then you got to bear in mind there's probably 1 ant for every larvae in the nest, because like they're holding them. Like I saw them, they moved their colony at one point into the elephant's fern to the left, and they literally, when they're inside the nest, you can see that they're just stood there holding larvae, and that's pretty much it. I suppose because otherwise they'd fall, weren't they? Because it's all vertical. So yeah, there's like 1 worker roughly for every larvae or egg in the nest. It's well into the thousands. It's doing really well. Obviously, if they do get hungry, there's plenty of things in them in this tank that they could just eat. They've got more than enough strength, numbers, and ability to just take down anything in the tank that they want. I mean, the stick insects would be an easy fight for them. That won't even be a fight, that would just be a slaughter. But they've left the stick insects alone. We've still got a good colony of, I think, 5 stick insects in there at the moment. If you spot one, let me know, because they're really hard to spot on stream. I normally see them at night time when the red lights are on, and they show up against the background. But it's so dense in there that they hide really, really well. Wouldn't surprise me if that's one in this kind of, you can't see what I'm pointing at, the fern on the right hand side. It wouldn't surprise me if there's one in there by the looks of it, but I can't honestly see one. The type of stick insects that I have is just normal standard Indian stick insects. I managed to get hold of just a couple really locally someone had, and they bred into the thousands, so I've gave loads to schools and stuff like that, but I've still got probably 40 or 50. There's 5 in here, and I've got 2 big enclosures full of them. I am looking at maybe getting a different species of stick insect because I do like the Indians, but they're just a little bit. They don't do a lot, to be honest, and like it's really hard to see them. So I might get something a bit bigger, a bit more exciting along that range, maybe a leaf insect, but they're just as hard to see, but very cool. I might even get a praying mantis. Yeah, exactly. Some people give them away for free. That's exactly what I did. I gave loads away for free to basically. Put out a post to all the local schools and whatnot and said, if you can prove to me that you know how to care for them, and I would even tell them how to care for them. You know, if you're happy to learn, basically, and if you get yourself an enclosure, then I'll just give them to you. You can have as many as you want, is what I said. And loads of people had them. The local schools took them, and it's quite good. Like the school that my daughters are at, the head teacher took a load, and he randomly comes in and speaks to my daughter and is like, "Oh, can you come make sure the stick insects are doing okay?" It's brilliant. But yeah, I think it's a great thing to get kids into. So if you've got so many, just give them away, you know, give them away to schools. Let schools educate the kids. Kids love stuff like that as well. And stick insects, the Indian ones, cannot harm you in any way. They're just like, you know, they just walk on you. And kids love that. I think when I was doing research, I think it was something like every stick insect can lay, Indian stick insect, can lay 300 eggs roughly, and they don't need to be with a male or female to do it. They can just do it on their own. And then out of those 300 eggs, you'll probably get another 300 from each one. So the numbers are just absolutely insane. I mean, I had 5 or 6 and I got thousands. All Ants UK is saying your school hates animals, so they wouldn't like them. That's ridiculous. No school should be like that because that's just like blocking education. One of the schools, I say one of the schools, I went through many schools in my time. One of the schools I went to was actually a bloody a farm, and they had sheep and all sorts of stuff like that on site. That yeah, that you can just kind of. I think it was part of the science courses that you could do agriculture and stuff. Hey, Big Ross, thanks for signing in, man. It's nice to have you here. I'm just doing a few things. A second. There we go. I am back. Oh, let's have a little nosy round the tank whilst we're here. We'll zoom back. What's going on? Lots of ants feeding at the minute, eating those carbs. Still working their way through the last bits of the cockroaches from Wednesday. Thanks for signing in, Big Ross. Nice to have you here for just that brief moment. I'll see you again soon, buddy. Lisa, what stuff is in the liquid feeders? It's the cotton candy ant sugars from the ant lady. They're really good. The ants go nuts for them, basically. It's like catnip for ants. Just going nuts. I actually use it with pretty much all my colonies. It's just easier than having to make up a honey mix or sugar mix or whatever. I was never really sure I was doing the ratios right. I just wanted to be sure. So this is just, it's much better. I can just do it straight from the bottle. Boom, 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 done. And what I do is I get a big bottle from the ant lady like every 6 months or whatever, and that just about does it for now. We're going to have to start like upping it soon. Yeah, really do try them. The ant lady, I mean, Antics sell some as well. I think Wakushi might. Quite a few different people are now starting to sell them, and they are really good. You go get Polyrachus dives at All Ants UK. That's going to be really cool. Polyrachus dives are obviously this colony here. They're awesome ants to watch and deal with, and yeah, just great ants in general. You make sure you give them enough space. Like I say, they love to weave. Giving them an acrylic nest is fine, but you're going to have to expand it massively because they do just grow and grow and grow. And obviously you got to keep up with that. And they'll probably weave against the glass as well, so you probably won't even see in there. But yeah, they love natural formicariums. So if you can do a natural one, they'd probably prefer it. The more height, the better. But they don't like to go massively high. They're like lesser weaver ants. The lesser weaver ants go like in the bottom sort of bushes, whereas proper weaver ants will actually go into trees. Yeah, the Wakushi weaver outworld, that's pretty much suited, that'll be fine. Be really good, actually. So keep us updated on that one. Oh, you've got a Solenopsis geminata queen. I think I read that in the Discord chat that you were going to get one, All Ants UK. That'd be really cool if you could keep us updated. Like I say, it's not one that I want to keep myself, but if it was like, if I only had 4 or 5 colonies, I'd probably do it. But I've got so many now that keeping on top of it is fine for me. But say I go away or, if God forbid something happens to me, then my missus has to deal with 32, 33 colonies and one of them Solenopsis geminata. You know what I mean? I think that and just keeping on top of the barrier and food supply, it's a lot of hard work. But good luck to you. Keep us updated on it. Obviously, it's going to be interesting and awesome, and the colony is going to be in the thousands really fast. I mean, I did consider getting them a long time ago, but I decided to get other things instead. I probably will look into the proper weaver ants one day, maybe. It's something I've thought about, but to be honest, I'm quite happy with the Polyrachus dives, and they're easier to care for because the proper weaver ants like to go high up in the canopies, really. You can't really recreate that efficiently in an acrylic setup of any kind because you just can't do the height. Like, they sense the height in their antenna or whatever you want to say, they know how high they are. So you can't really recreate that unless you, I suppose, live high up. I don't know. It's all about air pressures and stuff, isn't it, I suppose? So yeah, the Polyrachus dives are probably my preferred weaver ant for keeping, but I would love a proper colony of weaver ants for their sheer size. Basically, my aim at some point, I want to have every one of what I would call a top tier ant. So you've got your like weaver ants, you've got your leaf cutter ants. I can't even think right now. My mind's gone blank. It is very late. I'm tired. But yeah, all of those sort of top tier ants, you know what I mean? I honestly, I can't even think. My brain's just gone to mush. Wow. But yeah, I don't want the fire ants. That's the Solenopsis geminata that we're talking about, stuff. Yeah, like I say, I don't want them because I want everything else. I plan to keep a snake at some point and maybe a tarantula soon as well. I've wanted a Goliath birdie and tarantula ever since I was about 8 years old. I was going to get one when I moved out on my own, and then my missus moved in with us. People say leaf cutters are harder than they actually are. Yeah, this is the setup. Once you get the setup right, they're easy. It's just maintaining that setup so that the mold doesn't go, or that's the kind of key with leaf cutters. I'm sure I could do it. I can do most things. I always do a lot of research and set up the enclosures as best as I can to my abilities. Thank you, Flores. 725. Thanks for signing in for just 10 minutes if you're coming in. We're just chatting about all sorts of crazy things right now. Look, there's an Isopod. I bet he's going to try and get a bit of the shell, because they'll wait until the ants basically pick it clean, and they'll come in and get the shells overnight and eat them for their calcium. So that helps them reproduce their shells when they molt. Millipedes also come down and smash all the food in overnight. Like, the millipedes just go nuts for it. But I haven't actually seen a millipede in probably about a month. I don't know if they hibernate. I need to look into that, actually. I don't think they do. See you later, Visa. Thank you for signing in, buddy. Yeah, I don't think they hibernate. I've never read that anywhere, but I should actually look it up directly if they do. I haven't seen them for a little while, but I expect they're fine. In fact, I thought they were gathering up food and eating up loads, because I like to have babies, because they ate loads and loads and loads and loads and loads, and then they just disappeared. So they're probably having babies, don't they? We'll see one day, won't they? They'll come out and just trail about like they do. Massive things in this tank. They're like huge compared to the ants. It's ridiculously ridiculous. It's awesome to watch. I do love my millipedes. There's actually 3 different species of millipedes in here. There's giant olive millipedes, which are the really big ones like trains. There's the red tie flat millipedes, which did actually run about a lot more on the surface, but you don't see them much. They generally live back in that corner now behind this large piece of driftwood. You can see them if you look very carefully occasionally. And then there's also bumblebee millipedes, which they'll grow quite large as well, but they came to me and into the tank as juveniles, and they were so small you'd think they were maggots, basically. But they're growing really well now. Okay. I've just been reading the chat coming up. All Ants UK, you like millipedes but not centipedes. Yeah, centipedes are little buggers. When they bite, they hurt and they attack things, and they got venom and they're nasty. I don't want a centipede, although I'll probably get a centipede for something, but I won't keep it with anything else because they're really aggressive. I apologise for those 75. I will call you Forest from now on. Does that? Yeah, I suppose that does say Forest. Or yeah. All right, your name's Forest. I'm sorry, I'm old. You have to bear with me. But yeah, right. So here is a question coming up on the screen. So bioactive containers of something that I love. However, I tried it once and I think I had too little ants. How many ants would you recommend for a great starting bioactive setup? So basically, it all depends on the size of the bioactive setup. I've got some of my setups. If you watch some of my videos, in fact, some of them coming up really soon, I've made bioactive setups out of quite small outworlds. And like I've put starting founding colonies in them. I've tried it with singular queens and done it from founding stage. But generally, right, you don't want to do it whilst they're in founding stage, because when they've got like 10 workers, they need to use all of those workers for tending to the brood and gathering food resources. If they're out digging, then you're using too many workers for unnecessary jobs, and you're risking them running out of energy too soon because they can't feed as much because there's too many jobs to, you know what I mean? So once you've got your workers, you want to wait till, like, depending on the colony, obviously, larger ants, you get away with less workers. But say like Lasius niger, the standard black garden ant in the UK, you want to wait till there's like 50 or so workers before putting them in a natural formicarium, if you can, just so that they've got the worker power to dig, they've got the worker power to also feed and tend to the brood and the queen, which needs a little bit attended to by workers constantly as well. Which is a lot of jobs, you know what I mean? If you've only got 10 workers, then that's a lot of work for 10 workers. It's not until that the colony gets slightly bigger than that they can really dig efficiently. Let's say if it's just a queen, and stick the queen straight into a natural formicarium, yes, because she'll just dig down and dig her natural founding chamber that she would in the wild. You know, that's probably the perfect way of doing it. But you have to make sure that you're hydrating the nest properly, or the nest site, things like that, without drowning her as well. So it's quite a difficult venture, but it's also a really fun one to do. I have done it. And I probably will be doing it again soon, because I've got a queen that's just not doing anything. Hasn't done anything for a while in a test tube. So I'm thinking, if I stick her straight in a doodad, what's the doodad called? A bioactive setup, then you know what I mean. It should be jobs are good, and hopefully. Hopefully, he says. Hopefully, there's always a hopefully. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, I'm going to stop that. Sorry. See what I mean? They still go for that ant tower, even though there's nothing left in it. They're trying to get every last drop, even though there's 2 more towers full of sugar. Sugar water, not pure sugar. Although I have seen ants take pure sugar, but only larger ants I would do that with. There's that piece of wood that I was telling you about on the left-hand side there. That's where the isopods actually live. I would show it off, but it's really hard to get a good camera angle on it. Hang on, let's have a look. But yeah, I put food down there as well. And yeah, there's like, they dig down behind it. Like I say, it's hard to get a camera angle here because that's where my desk is now. But yeah, loads and loads and loads of isopods down there. Forest, yeah, really, I would be honoured if you gave me a message or something. If you're in the Discord, give me a message there, or just always sign in to these chats. I'm always here. You're welcome to ask me absolutely anything, and I will do my utmost to help you in every way that I can. I mean, I love helping people. I love being part of the community. So, yeah, honestly, anything. And in fact, just building upon that, I would love to help you build a good environment. You know, I'm not a dictator. I'll tell you, I won't tell you what to do, but I'll definitely aid you in your research and things like that, so that you can build an absolutely awesome setup. I mean, even this one, I researched this for this was a plan that I had for years, like years and years, and then I slowly built it up in my head. And then in the last year or so, I really did a lot of research into how to do different things and how I was going to build what I had in my head. Because like I've said in the past, this is a completely natural environment apart from, I think, 5 items. Like, I haven't used any foams or glues or anything like that. It's all, even all the highways up there are just put together by layering sticks upon other sticks, like it would be in the natural, rather than, you know, lots of fake stuff. But you can have fake stuff, you know, we can do whatever suits you. I've got lots of different environments. I've got lots of other tanks. Some of them have artificial plants. Some of them have other stuff and foams involved. But I wanted this one to be as natural as I possibly could. That's an awful angle for the light, isn't it? We'll move it back down here. I need to get like one of those robotic cameras that turns with a press of a button. That'd be awesome. But to be honest, I'm happy I've got this camera. This one I just got with a load of Patreon money. So yeah, making good use of Patreon support, to be honest, getting new cameras. I got my microphone as well. The plan is, if I can get a bit more Patreon support, I'm going to install broadband with it so that we can run these streams a lot smoother, because they do lag a little bit, especially when I'm doing the interviews and we've got 2 or 3 people signed in. They do lag, and it would just be better. And then I'll be able to do 24-hour streams on Twitch of just a tank, and then I'll be able to come in and do these chats like I do. I'll keep the stream going on Twitch, and then I'll turn it to go to YouTube as well, and then I'll come in and come for a long chat, I suppose. But I'll always be on, you know, there chatting and just being there. You know, my camera setup's better than your phone setup, all answer. Okay, honestly, it is, but the issue now is that I'm running on my phone Wi-Fi still. So where you could stream off your phone, yes, it might not be the best camera quality, but it might not lag as much because it's directly from the phone. Whereas I'm using my phone to Wi-Fi, and then the computer's connected to that. And my kids can also sign on to it, and Xbox signs onto it. Yeah, I have been on his stream a couple of times. I said I'm going to go on possibly tonight, but it doesn't look likely. I'll make it on in the next few days. He's a great guy, and I love chatting to Ryan. Yeah, like he beat me to it, because I've been saying about doing it for a while. 24-hour streams, it's something I really want. I was thinking of getting like different camera on all the different tanks and doing like a couple of hours on each tank or whatever, you know. And then he's doing his 24-hour stream. I was just like, you beat me to it. But I don't mind, you know. There's no competition between us. Me and Ryan are great friends, you know. He's a great guy. It just made me laugh that he, like, great minds think alike, I suppose, isn't it? But yeah, like I said, I'm not going to do 24-hour live streams on my YouTube. That'll be on the Twitch, just because I don't want to clog up my YouTube, basically. There's a lot on there already. So yeah, I'm going to be doing like 24-hour live streams on Twitch, because that just seems a better place to do stuff like that. If you go on Twitch on the ants and pets and whatever doodad, then quite a lot of people do things like this with different tanks and environments. So it kind of works really well on Twitch. And then obviously when I come in and talk, that's when it's better to go onto YouTube, because it's actually worth watching on YouTube. That's what people are looking for on YouTube. It just kind of hitting the markets where it's the best place for that thing, I think. I mean, I might be completely wrong. I don't really know social media and things that well, but we're getting there. I mean, we've got 407 subscribers on YouTube now, and like 15 or something on Twitch following me. So that's really cool. I mean, we've had 3 people from Twitch sign in to just this one stream. That's like mind-blowing, off the scale, literally off the scale. I've never had 3 people on the Twitch before. So that's quite amazing. Thank you very much, all you Twitch viewers, for signing in. No, that's all right, Forrest. If you got to go, you got to go. Thank you very much for signing in. Don't thank me. Honestly, thank you for signing in, and I'm always here to help. I'll see you again soon. I am just going to mute the microphone for a couple of minutes because I'm going to put the kettle on and it gets quite echoey. And I want to make a coffee. I'm dying for a drink. I'm back. My opinions on big-headed ants and would I have a colony? By big-headed ants, I'm guessing you mean either Canberra diversa or Fidoli, Fidoli noda. Yeah, I'd keep them. Yeah, I would. It's not something like it's pretty much apart from Solenopsis geminata and Invicta, there's not a colony that I won't keep. You know what I mean? I did have some Fidoli at one point, and then they just died, and I was really upset because I had it from a queen. she had her first like 2 workers, and then that was that. She just died, and the workers were there like, oh. And I was distraught on that because I was really looking forward to having a colony of Fedoli. I do plan also to get some more Fedoli and some Canberra diverse very soon. As soon as I can find them on the market, they're mine, basically. They are mine. Everyone else, stay away, they're mine. Sorry, just got a little bit defensive. I'm just going to have a little mess with a couple of things. So if the screen goes weird, it's because I'm messing with things. See, now that's alright, but it's slightly irritating, isn't it? I'm going to say I plan to get the comments to come up on the side, but I've got to work out how that's done yet. There must be a magic way of doing it, you know. We shall see. We shall see. I don't want to mess it about too much because you know what I'll like. I'll mess with it and then it'll just stop, knowing my luck. No, I don't know. But that would be ideal. If I could get all the chat coming up on the side, that would be ideal. I'll have to Google it when I Google. just a warning, I am going to be ending the stream in about 5 minutes. Okay, so really interesting. My bullet ants just caught a juvenile isopod, and they're dragging it back to their nest. It looks like they've killed it. I did film it, but obviously that's not going to be in tomorrow's video because it's too late. But yeah, I'll post it somewhere, probably on my Patreon. So if you want to have a look, get on my Patreon, support the channel, and all of that. I am still here for the next couple of minutes. If you've got any questions for me or anything like that, just post up in the chat. Right, I am going to end the stream. Thank you all for watching. It's been brilliant. But as always for me, I'll see you again soon, Ant fans.